Hello and welcome back, everyone. Today's episode is incredibly special to me because we're joined by someone I deeply admire, not just for her brilliance in finances, but also for the kindness and authenticity she radiates. I first met Elaine King in 2017 at the Mujeres Poderosas event in Miami, where she was honored as one of the 25 most influential Hispanic women. As a fellow Peruvian, it was an unforgettable moment to meet someone whose work has already touched so many lives. Elaine is a powerhouse. She's written 8 books, two of which are bestsellers, worked with over 1,200 families on legacy and financial planning, and founded an inspiring movement, Family and Money Matters. I'm thrilled to have her here to share her wisdom and her journey. Elaine, welcome to Happiness by Habit.
Thank you, Silvana. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and I love the name of your podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Elaine. Elaine, let's start with a little bit of your story. You've lived in and studied in many countries. You're definitely a global person. You live in Austria, Canada, Japan, Mexico, Peru, the US. A really global upbringing. How did that experience in so many cultures shape the way you view money and success, Elaine?
Well, living in different countries taught me how to adapt faster because it was really hard at the beginning, I have to be honest with you, to be able to be one of the girls or, be in the school with all the classmates that have been growing together. So at the beginning, I was very shy and I was very conscious about myself. But then little by little, I learned to adapt. So how to insert yourself in a community is you need to learn and love the culture that you live in so that the community can take you as one of their own. So I did that in Canada, Mexico, and Austria, and Japan, and it was really nice. Everybody, I think in general, people are good. I think the majority of people are good. There is evil, I must say, and I'm learning that, but most of people want to help you. So I volunteered a lot. I became the president of the International Student Association and part of the International Student Welcome Committee because I didn't want other little kids to go through what I went through when I was new and I didn't know anybody because my biggest fear was who was I going to have lunch with the first day? I mean, I was 5 years old, 7 years old.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
9, 11, 13. I changed 7 times schools when I was growing up because of my dad.
7 times. Wow. Fascinating. And were there any particular cultural lessons or traditions around finances that have stayed with you?
Different cultures. I really learned the way that people learn. So
Okay.
in Mexico, for example, the school I went to was British and it was more thorough. It wasn't too much on testing yourself. It was more comprehending if you understand the concept. And I think finances is about that. You don't need to know what 15 times 12.5 is. You need to understand the art of compounding. The fact that if you save $5 today and you save $5 every day, for example, you can make $1,500 a year. And then if you invest it at 5%, that compounds year on year on year, and that can become $1 million in several years. So I think the big idea is what I gathered from the culture. Yeah, I mean, I learned from everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Fascinating. And then also on that token, I am Peruvian as you are, and culturally, money wise, I think we learn from our family that, for instance, when buying a house, we need to pay cash, we need to save, and that kind of mindset is different also, right, with the different cultures.
Oh, absolutely. When I was growing up in Peru, we changed currencies many times. Inflation was 1,000%.
Oh yeah.
When I was in Mexico, the stock market crashed 60%. When I was in Japan, the Asia crisis happened. When I lived in Austria, it was the shillings. It wasn't even European, the euro. So yes, you learn how to the value of money, the value of, I don't know if I may say this, but like kind of betting. I remember when I was 18, my dad will send me the money for rent for my college
Uh-huh.
in Austria. And I would look at the currency exchange and see, okay, if it appreciates against the dollar, then I'm going to exchange it. Before, if it's depreciating, I was trying to, I guess, gain a little dollar or two in the currency.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah. And so you were defining your strategy about how to pay rent, either to change the money or not.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. I feel such a pride in you how you represented our country on a global stage. What was the transition like moving from Peru to Wall Street, where you managed, I think the number is probably updated by now, but $13 billion in assets.
Yeah, I was actually hired when I was 20 years old, and then I became a manager pretty fast. I was a manager of the investment advisory service that managed $13 billion. And I think being Latina in Wall
Mhm.
Street in the 90s, I think it was a blessing because there were not a lot of Latinas in Wall Street in the 90s that I don't know. I mean, it was a time where the industry needed more women. It was in the time that it was unique to speak Spanish. I
Mhm.
think I was there at the right time. I didn't know what a stock or a bond was, but at 20 years old, you didn't need to know that. You just needed to have a good attitude, hardworking, and I didn't even have a permanent visa. I had a temporary visa when I started. So I only had 9 months to prove to my boss that I was worth an H-1B visa. Um, and what I did is I asked always for more work. I um, I have to stay late to do more work, I would do it. He was the one that told me, Elaine, you don't have to come to work when you're sick. I was like, really?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's funny.
Those were the times.
Those were the times, different times. Oh,
Different
wow.
times. Yeah, I
Yeah.
go to the office on the weekends. I was the only one there.
You
Um,
definitely prove yourself to your boss. I'm
I
sure that he
had
was very pleased to extend you the special visa.
Yes, yes, because when you do
Oh,
the special visa, you have to say that, you need that person and sign on the dotted line for them for another.
right, right. Oh my God, that's awesome. And was there any defining moment when you were on Wall Street that sparked your desire to work more closely with families and in the Hispanic community in particular?
I think so. That's a great question because in when I work in Wall Street and I was a manager of such a big, investment advisory service, there were 5,000 financial consultants that I managed in a way, where I had a team that managed them too. And there were certain times that they would complain. And when they complained, they would complain about the performance. And for me, it was like, why are you complaining? Your account is up 20%. And they're complaining like, why isn't it up 22%? Or, why is it up 5 and not 7? And I thought to myself, what is that 2% difference? Like, is that really the end of the world? And that's when I started getting more curious about what is really the meaning of money, because the meaning of money is not to make 5 to 7%, by no means. There's more volatility and return in really integrating your finances with your family. Because if you lose, I don't know, I'm going to make this up, $100,000, if you have a $10 million portfolio or $1 million portfolio, and you miss 10%, which is 100,000, it's a big deal. But if you
Hmm.
lose your son to conflict of money, if you lose your family business because you didn't want to talk to your daughter, or if you get divorced because you were working, and I don't know, I mean, you didn't have good communication, that doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2%. That could be 50%. That could be 100%. I know families now that they lost their business. So that's when I thought, okay, there's more than investments to this equation. There's more than that. You really have to have a holistic financial plan. You need to integrate, increase the communication, and measure the qualitative and the quantitative aspects of finances.
For sure, that's a big difference. Can you share a story of a family that deeply impacted your perspective on the importance of financial harmony?
I think, Yeah, I can, and it actually got me in trouble when I shared it. But it's okay
Oh,
because I already got in trouble, so I don't think I can get in trouble.
okay.
I mean, it's unanimous, but the place
Okay.
where, yeah, I won't go into detail because I may get in trouble again, but I will tell you the story. And so
Uh-huh.
there's this place that I got hired to be, in charge of financial planning. And
Mm-hmm.
something similar to what I just mentioned happened. The gentleman was complaining to the investment advisor why their portfolio was up 8% and not 10%. Because why did they put him on bonds and not, all stocks? And was just giving him a hard time. And then I was just sitting there observing. And then at one point I said, "Sir, why does it matter to you that 2%? What does that mean to you? Do you have a special number you want to get to?" Because I had just I had just graduated from my postgraduate in family therapy, so I knew
Mm.
my my,
Something else was
my
going on.
ancelitas were very
Uh-huh. Yeah.
okay. Hold on a second. This is not about money,
Something else.
more about
Right.
your emotions. So what
Right.
does it mean? You have a number? He's like, well, he says, I do. I have a number and I'm worried because my wife was just diagnosed with MS. She's sitting in
Mm.
a wheelchair. I'm the only thing she has, and I need to leave her a certain amount of money. And I said, okay, but is this all the money you have? And he says, no. Do we know how much money you have? And he started telling me all the money he had. And that was just a fraction of all the money he had. He
Oh,
was complaining about like his portfolio of $1 million. He had like 10. And I said,
oh,
okay, sir, let's put this into perspective too. You know, do we really need to take that much risk? You could lose your money. And what else do we need to do to make your wife comfortable? Do you have a trust? Do your kids know about this? Does she have the proper care? Does she have enough to take care of herself? Like, there's so much more than just the performance between 7 and 9 or 9 and 8.
mhm,
And I knew
mhm.
that it wasn't like that. So when I wrote about it, because I think I wrote about it, I got in trouble
Mm.
um, for speaking out
Yeah,
because
I mind.
it's seen as malpractice, but it's not malpractice. It's just that, the financial industry has evolved. They need to get trained, to hear out that the pain is not a personal pain. It's not a personal pain against the investment advisor. It's a personal pain inside. We really need
Mm-hmm,
to know,
mm-hmm.
what is it? Why am I screaming at you? It's not because I hate you. It's because there's pain inside of me. And that's what happened to him. There was a lot of pain he didn't feel comfortable saying unless he was asked to. And I took the time, an hour, to truly understand him, and he felt much better. And the advisor also said, "Oh, wow, I didn't know that." Like after that, when I had conversations with clients, the advisors were sitting there and they were like, "Well, I didn't know, he did this. I didn't know he went to school here. I didn't know." It's like, it's
They didn't
important.
ask. They didn't care to ask.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Now it's changed a little. This was 10 years ago, but or 15 maybe. Um, but so that was like the aha moment. And that's when I thought, you know what, I might as well just do something on my own. Um,
For sure. And that's when you opened your own company. Tell
yes.
us about that, please.
Oh my God, it was like jumping in the ocean.
Oh,
I
for
didn't have a
sure.
business plan. My business plan was in my head. My
Yeah.
husband was like, "What are you doing?" And don't worry, I got it. Because one thing I tell people, you don't have to be perfect to go and do your own. You don't have to, maybe you don't have to do like a 10-page business plan. All you got to do is just have an idea, have confidence in yourself, and have a little experience. So if you want to open a restaurant, you better work for the best restaurant in the world if you can.
Mm.
And then
Right. Before. Yeah, sure.
so I think I had enough experience working
Mm-hmm.
at the largest bank in the world as a director of a regional, top regional, the #1 family office in the world. I thought, you know what? I got it. Maybe I didn't feel 100% confident, but I was like, you know what? I got this. If the bank I work for charges, 10 times more, I only need to charge, half or even less than half, and I still can make my living. Um,
Right.
so that's how I started. I started with a handful of clients. knocking at doors. I remember when I went to Peru the first time, I told my cousin, I'm in meetings, and he's like, how many meetings did you get? And I said 36 meetings this week. And he says, you have more meetings in 1 week than I have in a year.
Wow, awesome.
You have to, because
Yes,
mercadería que no se exhibe no se vende.
exactly.
English is if you're not in front, if you're not
Right.
out of mind, out of sight, basically.
Exactly. Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. And then actually, I can only imagine the added value that you bring to the table also, as opposed to just a regular traditional company doing a money advisor, taking that kind of advice from you is a much more comprehensive from somebody who will take the time to listen to their actual needs also. That definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, I guess I think one person must design their own unique business plan. So
Yes.
I didn't fit into the traditional brokerage. I didn't fit in the traditional bank or the traditional financial planner or the traditional investment advisor. I just wanted to work with 10 families, deep relationships, that I know their kids, that I know their parents, multi-generational, and be able to help the next generation. And that's what I'm building.
That's beautiful. Why to fit in if you can stand out? And you were born to stand out, Elaine.
Thank you.
Yes.
Like
Let's,
Robert Frost,
yeah,
the road less what is it? The road less driven? The road the yeah. Somebody who's
yes,
it's like the road less traveled, the road less traveled.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Let's switch hats a little bit. Let's go into the books you have read because you have read 8 books. Two of them
They're
are
right behind
bestsellers.
me.
Oh yeah, I see them. I read a couple of them. And I have your autograph on those too. That's beautiful. Let's talk about your books and
Okay.
what's your favorite story or lesson from your books that you have seen that truly resonates with your readers.
Wow. Well, I'm a little biased because I really truly love my children's book.
Mm.
I think the lessons that I wrote there, even though they're written for 8-year-olds, there are a lot of adults that need to hear it. And I wrote it in a way that is very comprehensive, like easy to talk about. And I truly believe that you learn financial well-being by example. So
Mhm.
maybe somebody's listening right now and says, you know what, my finances are a mess. I can't make it organized. Well, if you have kids or if you have a husband or a wife, if you want to be an inspiration and lead by example, then maybe that could be the trigger. And if
Mm.
you lead by example, you read them the story, and that story has a lot of lessons in it. It's a story about a bird, which is really it was supposed to be La Golondrina, but the illustrator wrote me a bird. In the Galapagos Island, that's where Charles
Uh-huh.
Darwin used to study the the golondrina, and they
Mhm.
really liked this bird. It'll come to me in a little while, but because they had a high rate of adaptation. And so
Mhm.
I write about it, and you were talking before about habits. So even
Yes.
though that specific species of bird got more food, they divided in two. There was one group that did not eat more, did not reproduce more. It's just kept at it, actually saved. And that's the
Mhm.
one that when there was not enough food anymore because there was an abundance of food. The ones that saved were the ones that survived, and the ones that took advantage of the abundance of food and just splurged were the ones that
Mhm.
died.
Mhm.
So when I heard that story, it resonated with me, and I thought, well, you know what? What a good use of that story to teach the value of financial well-being, that money is important, but it's not only to use, it's to save, to grow, and to share.
Mm.
So I think if one person can understand and live by those concepts and habits, then I mean, then and if kids can grow up thinking like that, then financial planning is going to be a piece of cake when they grow up.
That's right. You need to start them when they are little.
Yeah.
I still have you gave us a piggy bank at your event, like
Oh,
that had like savings, giving, spending, investing, and it was pretty cool. And Sabrina, my daughter, really loves it, and we still have it.
oh
So
yeah.
yeah, definitely an inspiration for many, and for especially for the kids too. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that designation you got, or you were selected as one of the 25 most influential Hispanic women at the event where we met, Mujeres Superpoderosas, right, in Miami. Tell us about how you feel about that. What what are your reflections about that award that you received?
I think that was recognition or a result of volunteering and helping the community. I think it's a reflection when somebody truly does what they like. And yes, making money is important, but more making a difference is
Mm-hmm.
important because I remember that the 25 Poderosas was a combination of actress. Like I remember Jennifer Lopez, for example, was there. There were several people that you see all the time on TV, but there were also people that had contributed to the community. Maybe they weren't
Yes.
like gazillionaires or like, Golden Globe winners, but they had done something for the community. And I think that was a reflection in my nomination that I truly want to make money a positive force in the world. I really want people to see money as something constructive, as something that, can unite families and not destroy families. Because I've seen a lot of people that fight over it, they get divorced
Mm.
over it, businesses that are destroyed. And it's so, I don't want to say the word easy, but it could be prevented.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a prenup, if you have an exit plan in a business, if you have good communication with your kids, if you have clear expectations, if you define the roles of the family members and the shareholders and the stakeholders, I think that conflict can be mitigated.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
so that's I mean, I know I'm only one, but I have mi granito de arena, my sand, my little piece of sand.
Right, your contribution to the world.
A little
Yeah,
contribution.
yes, and that you say about when you do what you love, you can. It actually shows, because I remember in that event you did a presentation, and I remember it was very interesting, and everybody was like, "Oh wow, fascinating!" And the way you explained it, that was really really beautiful.
Ah, thank you. You remember the chocolates?
Oh, the chocolates too. Yes, I remember the chocolates.
I know you don't forget those chocolates. I was trying to talk about how the habits, to how to create a habit and how you can reward your brain with a good feeling. Because a lot of people are like, oh, finances, I don't want to do finances. I'm like, okay, think about this, do your budget, and then eat the piece of chocolate. And then little by little, your brain can say, oh, doing a budget is actually fun. It's actually
Yeah,
it's actually
exactly.
good. And then little by little, you start taking the chocolate out. And then the brain equals like happy budget. Um, and if anybody is interested, the art of habit, that's where I got that idea from, the art of habit.
Art of habit. And let's talk about habits, because as you mentioned, the name of the podcast is Happiness by Habit. Let's talk about happy habits, or financial habits, actually. Can you give us a little bit of some recommendations of what habits we can implement in our daily lives to have happy finances in our life?
Of course, of course. I have a book that is called in Spanish, Los Colores de tu Dinero, which is the money colors, and then it's 7 steps to your financial well-being. And I believe that those have 7 habits. And I don't know if I can remember all 7 off the top of my head, but let me try with 3. Okay, so
Okay.
number 1 habit that I use a lot is you save before you spend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to save before you spend because naturally we're not conditioned as human beings to save. Like our species is, I mean, compared to other species of animals, it's not that long, right? And if you go to that time of the caveman, we used to, you know, if we were hungry, we would kill the beast and eat it, or we would be thirsty, we would go to the river and drink the water. But we didn't really plan too much. We're not born with that muscle. So if we start, since you know you can today, or little kids, save before spending, then you will never run out of your basic needs. So if you make $1,000, you should always put $100 in a different account. If you make, you know, 10,000, you should always put $1,000 in a separate account. Always pretend you only made 9,000 instead of 10,000. So that, I think that's the best, the top habit that I think. The second one is to see your budget as in colors. Like, the budget is not a restrictive measure. A spending plan, it gives you wings. Like if you can, if one person can think of that, like, okay, a budget, a spending plan is gonna actually make me grow. Add your dreams to your budget. So for example, my budget doesn't only have light, cell phone, mortgage. It has travel, it has home improvements, it has education, it has fun stuff that I actually look forward to.
Right.
So if you can do that as a habit, I do it every Sunday because I just love it. But if one can do it maybe once a month, that will be awesome, because that's preparing for the future. And then I'm trying to think what the third one could be. Okay, so the third one is to grow with purpose. There's a lot of people that contact me sometimes and say, hey, Elaine, you know, should I buy Bitcoin, or should I buy gold, or should I buy this, or should I get that? Because my neighbor does it, or because mi amiga, my friend does it. And I think, well, what do you want? What are you good at? What is your purpose? Like, if you understand the importance of investing stocks and bonds, then by all means, invest in the market. If you feel more comfortable in real estate, then by all means, invest in real estate. So invest in things that align with your values. Diversify in the three assets, which is the real estate, your business, and investments. Real estate, that is like hardcore assets. Business, because we're going to live till we're 100. And we are going to have to redefine our professions. I mean, I've done it so many times already.
Reinventing yourself.
Yeah, within the same industry, but different roles.
Right.
And investments, because just having your money under the mattress or in a savings account making 2%, 3% is not going to cut it. Inflation sometimes is high and you lose purchasing power. So I think it's important, those three. I mean, I kind of mixed all 7 in those 3.
And reduce them into 3. Yes.
You may want to rewind back and forth. I threw a lot of.
Yeah, that's good enough. I think you touched on the most important ones anyway. Those are very good. And these are things that people can do, but we all know this good to have or to do, but not too many people actually gets to do those, to budget, and of course you do it quickly because it's fun for you, but for them, most of people might not be as fun as it is for you. But it's a
Well,
good
I mean,
thing.
I can be a coach. I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
I can be a coach, but also you can find an accountability partner. So don't
That's
do
a
it,
good
have to
idea.
do it alone. You can find an accountability partner.
Yes.
Friend, I mean, make sure that your friend is good with numbers.
Right, before we, yeah, absolutely. Do you have any piece of advice for people that are looking into retirement age and how to prepare for retirement?
Wow. Okay, so a couple of advice. advices, a couple of tips.
Tips? Uh-huh.
Here's some advice, I guess. Okay, so the first one is, and this is, of course, anybody can debate me on what I'm going to say, but this is my personal. My personal is that if somebody wants to go into retirement, it is best for one to not have debt.
Yeah.
Because, especially bad debt, because debt is the enemy of financial freedom. Because how I define retirement is, I mean, you can retire at 30, you could retire at 40. I mean, you read it on the news at 50, you could retire at 60. Retirement is when you feel comfortable that your money can make enough money to cover your living expenses and more. So if you can keep your living expenses lower, then you can retire faster. And what are the biggest things that the regular American person has as expenses? I would say 40% of the typical budget is on debt, if not 50. You know, you have your credit card debt, you have your mortgage, you have the personal line of credit. I've seen more than 50% sometimes. I was working with somebody the other day that 75% of the budget is on debt.
Oh, wow.
That person is going to take forever to retire, because if they are having to, you know, how do I say this, maintain the debt, it's going to be hard. The living expenses is higher, and the higher the living expenses, the more you need to save. So try to keep your core living expenses low. So, okay, number one is try to get rid of debt.
Okay.
Number two would be to consolidate your credit cards. Because I understand, you know, we all want that,
the points and what?
Points, and I was going to say a brand, but you know, in the future, maybe you get sponsored by another brand. So, so I don't know, ABC store, so you can get 10% and you can get 20%. Everybody wants that. I get it. But you should really only have 2 credit cards, one for fixed and one for variable, because otherwise it gets out of control. So, and then the third thing is you should really have, I would say, at least a 5 to 10 year plan of how you're going to get there. And it doesn't need to be in the US. It could be somewhere else. I just did a video on Costa Rica, Portugal, Canada. I mean, there's so many places that the dollar can buy so much more. Because the US is getting very expensive. I know, I mean, us being from Peru, right now, that El Sol $2 almost at 4. There's a website, actually, I can give it to you later. You can put it in your podcast, that it compares the cost of living. And in Peru, the average rent is $250. Now, imagine that here in Miami, it's like an onion in Peru. I mean, according to this website, I haven't checked to see how accurate it is, but an onion in Peru is like 5 cents. An onion here is like $1. So it's like, you know, so you could buy, I'm gonna be funny about this, but you could buy 20 onions and, you know, 10 times your money if you go to Peru. Of course, you and I know that you can't just stay anywhere in Peru. And so the difference is not that big, but 1/3, I think so.
Oh, yeah. And I think that is a very good strategy. And a lot of people are doing that, just retiring somewhere else, right? Where the money can buy more things and give them a better level of life. That's a good one. I appreciate it. Let's change topics and let's talk about you and what are your goals for this year? What can we expect from Elaine King for 2025?
That's a great one. Well, 2025 is a special year for me. I like numbers that end in 5. So I'm definitely going to do something new. I am trying to, well, not trying, I'm going to.
Yes.
I'm going to consolidate my brand, and I have something called the King method. So it's more information to come, but it's coming sometime this year.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like where everything comes together because I've
Mhm.
spent the last 20 years building, 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 and now I want to consolidate it. Hopefully, it'll be a little more institutionalized. Um,
Okay.
and then on the other side, also, I'm growing my registered investment advisor service. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I am a certified financial planner. I'm an ambassador for the CFP board. And yes, I always add investment planning in my plans, but I'm going a little stronger on the investment part.
Mm-hmm.
And I specialize in working with women, especially those who are going through transition, either separation, inheritance, or change in career, um,
Mm-hmm.
or sale of a business. Um,
Yeah.
so those are the areas that I'm gonna focus on, the method and then also I'm a golf game.
Oh, okay. You're
Yes.
gonna bring it up.
My golf game and traveling. But traveling is gonna be just a few places because I want to go really far now that I'm a little younger. But
Mm-hmm.
I can go a lot further.
Mm-hmm.
I want to scuba dive.
Oh, nice. What is on your bucket list for places to travel? What do you have in mind?
I want to scuba dive the almost the four continents, I guess. I want to scuba dive in
Mm.
the Caribbean, in the Pacific, South Pacific Ocean. I want to
Wow.
scuba dive in the Red Sea,
Oh, nice.
and I would love to. I did it in the Indian Sea last year. I would love to scuba dive in the South African Sea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can do it all this year, but that's in my bucket list.
That's beautiful. I'm sure you're gonna do some of that this year and some of that maybe next year. But that's beautiful. Very nice. So let's talk about how the audience can get in touch with you and what services can you provide for them.
Oh yeah, so I offer services for everybody's budget.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get my books in Amazon for like $10. You can get online courses for $10 also on my website, elaineking.com. You could also hire me for a Q&A session, a coaching session, or you can also hire me for a financial plan. And those all go up in prices. So, or I could also invest portfolio. The minimum is $1 million. So whether you have, I guess, $10 or $1 million, I can help.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. Yes, and we'll make sure to put your website on the podcast so they can reach out to you.
Yes, thank you, Silvana. I
Oh,
appreciate
for
it.
sure. Yes.
Oh, and you
Let's.
can also reach me at Instagram and LinkedIn.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. We'll put those links here at the end. Speaking of inspiration, you inspire us a lot. Is there any book or any author that inspires you that you have read lately?
Um, the book that I'm almost done with, it's called, I mean, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a not a fiction reader. I'm more of a fact reader, like a
Okay.
nonfiction reader. So all the books
Uh-huh.
I read are self-help books.
Mm-hmm.
So the one I'm reading, which I think I have like 10 pages left, is called Signs of the Universe.
Okay.
I'm trying to think where I have it. I had it around here, but I think it's in my backpack because I went to the park to read the other
Oh,
weekend.
nice.
Yeah, it's Signs of the Universe, and it talks about that the universe tries to communicate with you at any stage, and we really need to have our ears and eyes open for signs. And it talks a little bit about, the people that are not here, and also how animals and nature communicate in sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's just signs. I mean, sometimes I see cardinals in my window. I saw a Seahawk in front of my window during
Oh,
the election period. It would come every day at 3 o'clock. Um,
wow.
And when I go out sometimes on the boat, I see dolphins, which are
Oh,
very rare to see. So
yes.
I do believe in science. I believe in,
Yeah, me too. Sounds like a beautiful book. I will check it out for sure.
yeah.
Well, Elaine, it has been an absolute honor to have you on the podcast. I am so inspired by your journey, wisdom, and your ability to make financial planning feel so personal and empowering. Thank you so much. To our listeners, I encourage you to check out Elaine's books and programs. You won't regret it. Thank you, Elaine. It was truly a joy.
Thank you. I wish all of you and you, Silvana, financial well-being and a big hug. And
Oh, thank
help
you.
you.
Very nice. I will leave you all with this thought. Happiness is often a habit, but so is financial wellness. Let's all strive to build both, one step at a time. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.